What's up, guys? Welcome back. The final day has finally come. We're about to move into some pretty hot and heated games. Of course, starting the day off over on Sanhok. And with me, my lovely co-host over here, Mr. Highland Wolf. How are you doing today?
I am doing so good. It's a beautiful Easter Sunday, and we are ready to get into some more action-packed, brutal, fast-paced games, which is going to be the double Sandhawks, as you say, coming up right to us. But before we get to the double Sandhawks, before we get to the points, got to also thank our beautiful sponsor, Nice Cactus, and that is, of course, a game platform where they span multiple online tournaments with tracking, training programs to players, and also currently expanding themselves on free mobile games, not only just PUBG Mobile, like COD Mobile, and also Wild Rift as well. So big up to them. Of course, Purge being the official partner for them here on these games and on these major events as well.
Yep, and of course, speaking of some major events, we've got a major leaderboard coming in after yesterday's games. We got the Navi team sitting on 113 points with those two lovely chicken dinners that they've been able to bring in. And of course, also Arc Red, 2 points behind, but also sitting on 2 chicken dinners. I mean, just some absolutely phenomenal gameplay that we've been seeing coming in over these past few games.
Yeah, it's certainly got a little bit of a break here on top of the leaderboard, but going down towards that 3rd to 8th place position, there's actually not too much in it. Yes, you actually see, of course, 4 Romanian Men a little bit behind, but just above that, it's actually very close. So it actually only requires one bad game here from Navi, Arc Red, Unicorns of Love. Even though they are a little bit ahead, they got a little bit of leeway going into the double Sandhawks tonight. It isn't going to be determined already which team wins this competition. Any of these teams, certainly on the left side, can take that prize money home by the end of tonight.
Yeah, and of course, I think we're definitely going to be in for quite a bit of a fight. We've seen the teams, especially over on Sanhok, being absolutely brutal, just going ham and finding the aggression, applying that to the opposing teams. And I mean, starting off 2 Sanhoks, then ending it off with the Miramar and Erangel. Anything in particular that you are expecting to see with the double Sanhok matches?
In terms of double Sanhok matches, I'm certainly expecting to see some interesting positioning and play come out from some of the lower end teams. Because keep in mind, it was actually yesterday where we saw not a top team take that chicken dinner around the Sanhok. It was actually Arc Red who were able to take that one, and through that game and through the final Erangel game, were able to put themselves up to that 2nd position with their good results. And certainly a team as well that you look to maybe be the upset here going onto the playing path is Qodex, who also stole a chicken dinner away, even though they were in last position in one of the Miramar maps yesterday.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of that plane path, we have the teams already now starting to make their way on in and make their way on over. And, you know, this is where we're going to potentially be getting into that action to see what the teams are going to be doing. For some other reason, obviously, as we've got with technology, there is always a little bit of a glitch coming in. So, yeah, let's hope and let's just hope this feed decides to pick itself back up quickly enough so we can get straight on into that action. But I mean, now this is where we wait to see what the teams are going to be doing. We also had that flight path coming in from the southwestern side, rather, making its way across. But now we just wait to see where the teams are. You can see a few of them already dropping down, and we're moving over into the matches. Finally, things decide to start working. We see that zone now moving up into the northwestern corner. So this is quite interesting, having that trifecta region in play. I think the last time we were in Sanhok, that's exactly where we saw the zone finish as well.
Yes, certainly going to be a more exciting and interesting and more in-depth Sanhok game coming through to us here. And we're not going to see, of course, the early engagements around, keep in mind, Paradise Resort as well. Actually, you see Just Skill changing up a little bit, and they're going to drop around the barn area and actually loot up in that T formation around those 4 compounds, and instead be a little bit more careful because they're a team here that need to start getting up more points. They're in 13th place with only 34 points, so certainly need to have a good showing tonight. But I digress in terms of the fact of this zone, of course. The fact that you have these 3 islands here, DK, makes it very interesting in how teams choose to rotate early on, because you're not actually guaranteed that it's going to end up in any of the 3 parts of Sanhok. So as a result, it creates a lot of uncertainty and perhaps see more splits out of teams earlier on.
But I'm quite interested in looking at the position that we see coming in here for Umbra. Right, they've taken up that position at the top of the hills, you know, just moving in, and that we've seen in a few matches, is quite the advantageous position if you are able to move in and, you know, take occupation. So do you think we're going to be seeing any other teams potentially moving up and trying to contest them for that position? Because looking at the spread of the teams, you know, they are fairly well spread out right across the map. The only team I think for this time that could be contenders on this position could potentially be Unique.
Yeah, I certainly think Unique, though, they're going to have a hard problem. And this is just kind of the fact that Umbra, they've already taken the mountainside. And what you'll see potentially coming out here is the way that Unique are trying to enter onto the mountainside is it's actually very chokeable here for Umbra. They can actually take out Halu and then move down over to Compot and Mind and Co as well to actually snipe them away from climbing onto that mountain. You can use the compound to split away Unique even if they try to stay together as a team. And that's what you see them doing, going at 2 different angles. But Halu already on top of them and already almost taking down Talon means that we actually need to retreat here. Hardman not able to help Talon to hold off the engage from Unique, giving him more time to get up on that mountain and get away from the choke point around these rocks.
But it's also an interesting position that we see there for Milky Way, perched up on the edge of that rock. That is a beautiful vantage point that could actually be quite beneficial for the team.
Yeah, certainly Milky Way getting that high ground flank is crucial, especially to casually cover Mind here, who you see going for that wider flank. And if he gets taken down, that means that Mind could very easily be sniped out of the game completely. So that's why Unique have that backline support to make sure that these flank rotations as well, coming from the likes of Hardman, aren't going to be answered so easily onto Unique. And actually Mind has an easier time to rotate. And because of the fact that Umbra, PRZ, is not with the rest of his team, it actually makes this more realistically a 3 versus 2 situation. 4 versus 2 as Compot also jumps up. That grenade lands onto Mind. Half of his health gone, forcing him back.
And I mean, that was a scarily close grenade coming in. But now, looking over towards Milky Way, you know, he's just moving back and forth on this hill. I would have liked to maybe see a scope with more magnification on it, because this is quite a bit of a ranged assault that he could be attempting. I mean, this is difficult to do with the red dot scope.
Yeah, certainly the red dot not going to be the most ideal here. Zoom on the scopes here to really take out these long-range fights means actually because of the fact of this early on phase, you don't actually have the equipment on board to take these long fights over the mountainside. You don't maybe have the loot on hand because you only just took a small bit of loot from PRZ down in the shacks below where Navi actually sit now and over on the top of the mountainside, which isn't a lot of buildings as a total. So Umbra may be feeling a little bit low on their supplies, especially considering that Umbra and getting now caught between 2 teams as Navi are sent up to the top as well.
Man, I can't wait for Navi to start pushing in from that southern portion. I mean, this is going to be such a battle trying to get in for that King of the Hill challenge. And here they come. We got those first few nades now getting cooked up, coming in from the Navi side, sent over right in towards Umbra, finds the heads in on towards PRZ. What a way to get the party started. Another hit going in towards Hardman.
It's going to going to be 2 knocks. Talon surely to fall next. That's going to be an entire squad wipe here of Navi. And Navi taking now 1 short fall, as well as Kasuni does get knocked by the flank from Halu, which means they're not out of the fire yet. Navi need to take a second team wipe. And Unique, they use that time to take control around these buildings.
I mean, and they're definitely pushing up quite a bit. We've got a few utilities now getting sent across, as well as elsewhere on the map as we see the hits coming in. But I mean, Unique now put on a little bit of a back foot here. They thought there was only 1 team up ahead of them. Now Navi comes into the mix, just pushing in, disrupting what they thought they had. And man, it's interesting to see the way that they're now starting to reposition themselves, taking up a little bit more of a defensive position in that anticipation of Navi pushing in towards them.
Yeah, not only do we have, keep in mind, this fight going on, we've got Cow as well. Going to be 3 teams fighting over there. Is for Romanian Men, Unity and Just Skill circle around the edge of the blue zone. So that's going to be what we have to draw our eyes to, particularly here as well, is for Romanian Men, slight down TNF.
I mean, yeah, this is just a crazy way to start it off. So many engagements coming in, but now things are starting to slow down a little bit here with Unique and Navi as the teams are now just weighing up their options. But let's quickly jump over towards the 4 Romanian Men. We see the players there from Just Skill now also getting hit in the process. Those hits flying in, and Unity up ahead. So that is our next team getting sent back into the lobby, am I right?
Just Skill getting sent back where they came from, and now for Romanian Men engulfed by the blue zone means that we're going to be in a little bit of bother here. Yes, it's only phase 1, so it's only going to be a little bit of a tickle, but a tickle's all you need to take out Bam if he doesn't get that first aid med kit, and he goes very low, but he does get it off in time. That's crucial for 4 Romanian Men here to stay alive in this fight as Unity hold them down. Moving through, but Focus gets grenaded by Rana. That's what you need from 4 Romanian Men. Now they have the advantage. Now they can move up and get a little bit more ground in their control.
Yeah, and it's beautiful to see those hits coming through. As we mentioned, of course, the blue zone at this point in the game not doing too much damage, but Unity now getting caught in a very tough position as we see that rotation coming in there from Dexter as well, flanking around the outside now, moving in, finding the hits in towards them, taking the Unity team now down to only 2 players.
Unity, just the 2 members versus the full squad, the full power of 4 Romanian Men. As now you see Chorta on one side, soon getting completely surrounded. There he goes, pop through the rest of 4 Romanian Men's fire. And now Chort is the only one alive. Rana trying to take him down.
Ooh. Man, but I'm loving this aggression though. 4 Romanian Men not holding back, just pushing up absolutely relentlessly. I mean, Chota now caught in a bit of a tricky predicament here as the 4 Romanian Men starting to move in, coming in with a 2-2 split, flanking around both sides of the building, finding the hits, and off they go. Unity. That is the end of their first match.
Yeah, and Unity already going to go out the match as well, but I like what actually has come through from Navi when we go back through to the mountainside. We're looking at the map here, the positioning of Navi. They actually, instead of going straight onto Unique, understand that Unique have control of the mountainside, so what they're doing is still controlling the northwestern island, but by doing so on the edge of the mountainside, by doing so on that high ground of the rocks. And I love the positioning out of Boss actually, because Boss is going to have great vision and great perspective on the teams like Unicorns of Love moving their way in, is they also suffer a knocks from other teams like Destiny already gatekeeping the action.
And we're seeing some fantastic ranged hits coming in. And Unicorns of Love now feeling the sting as 2 of the players get knocked out over towards the eastern side of the bridge. Fresh now holding up on the western side, just trying to hold the fort as we see Ked now quickly rushing over to try and get that res in over towards the remaining players. But now also we see the players from Arc Red right there behind Destiny. So quite a few teams now starting to line up. They're coming into almost a single file formation.
Yeah, very aggressive move from Mitchie as well, going straight on top of the bridge to try and cut the head off of Unicorns of Love, and they actually do get away with it for now. Over in Hartin, gonna make 2 different angles, and also security here, in a sense, from Arc Red, who are, of course, engaging in, but it does mean you put yourself at a 3v4 situation versus Arc Red if they go full on. So there is a slight bit of uncertainty, but not as uncertain as the side of BAM, who, with 4 Romanian Men, have no real way. It's going to be an absolute dilemma to make a rotation through to that northwestern island. They're going to have to make, realistically, what Rana is doing, that long, wide rotation, botation, even through onto the likes of that northwestern side.
And things are getting closer and closer back over towards those hills. I am really thinking that we're going to be seeing quite a bit of chaos coming in. But just looking at the positioning, we've got the players there from 12-18. We've got the team from Unique. We've got Qodex all situated over in towards that northwestern side. The hits now starting to fly up. Destiny just trying to reinforce their position. Then we have over towards this northeastern side. The shots flying up over towards Unicorns of Love as they find their hits on through. But man, this is where things are going to get pretty spicy. We've seen these teams before. They don't hold back. They just push and push and push.
Push and push is what Qodex are trying to do on this northwest side, right where we talked about that choke point. Was it Unique we're trying to climb on? Not so fortunate a time here for Qodex, as they're the ones getting sniped out. Only Zarakiri here to fall as well. It means they lost 2 members. 12-18 are coming on the other side, and Qodex are already only down to wait inside the smoke as they got caught on a late rotation alongside many other teams, also trying to have a piece of the share of Unique's mountain.
I mean, this is a very unique position as we see so many teams so close together. And now we see those hits coming in from 12-18, as you mentioned, trying to come in, trying to get their slice of the pie. But Qodex, that's a very tough position to hold. Not a lot of cover there.
Yeah, and as well as Qodex hold on, it's still going to be absolute carnage because as Qodex fall, actually another team needs to rise up as Destiny facing inside the compound of Arc Red.
Yep, and here we go, just jumping straight up in towards that. Arc Red now sitting with their players all huddled up over in the compound as Destiny starts pushing in. But I'm liking the approach that we see coming in here from Destiny. They're just surrounding the outskirts of the building, trying to find as many possible angles as they can over in towards Arc Red.
And I like this actually coming from Destiny, using a wall here and actually mitigating Striker's ability to impact this team fight as well. Actually, the way they rotate here is staying together as a group, actually only taking on one side, which means as a result, Arc Red, who are more split, actually have to give this compound up a little bit because keep in mind, the zone is now phase 4, and phase 5 moves even quicker. These teams both outside in the danger zone, so we're gonna need to get to safety. And Motherlode here, a team ahead of the curve, could actually take both of these teams out. But Konina Power, they're the ones driving by, and Motherlode are the ones taking them out first.
I mean, that was just a beautiful silver platter delivery that we saw coming in there as the hits find their way on through. Arc Red now moving up on that position, up on the cliffs, finding the shots in towards Motherlode down below. So fortunately for Motherlode, they've got those trees that provides that extra little bit of cover just for the time being. But Arc Red, they don't seem to be too bothered with trees or any obstructions in the way. They're not just trying to find that angle in towards the Motherlode.
Yeah, the problem with Motherlode's position is they're going into the ravine here, and the ravine is equal to death here, DK. You go inside, you ain't coming back out again. That's for certain. As Arc Red, they're going to be able to control the mountainside along with other teams, and actually going to be able to essentially choke out Motherlode without being able to move anywhere. Because once you go in, of course, there's no way to escape. Either you go one way against the blue zone, or you hope that blue zone doesn't close in against you. And the problem right now is that it just has done that. All of these teams outside means that Motherlode, realistically, the only rotation they can do is through this ravine itself, and you have to hope that Destiny is what you see doing alongside Navi actually halting Arc Red's aggression onto the top, but Navi want to be the ones to take out Motherlode as they make that rotation through.
I mean, and it's a really tough position to be fighting in. So many potential spots for these teams to be hiding in. Motherlode, Arc Red, all just facing quite the bit of a challenge. And Navi just perched off in the distance, just picking away at the players, finding some easy hits as we now see this blue zone starting to move in. But of course, Destiny is also just down the hill. We see Arc Red still trying to find the hits in towards them, but Motherlode also now starting to move on up through that valley of death that we've got up ahead.
This is so crucial. Keep in mind, there's still 11 now, only 10 teams alive. And these are the second and fourth place teams fighting it out already in the first game against each other. Destiny look to be the ones on top, but Noshi's realistically only one alive. And Purple is going to have to make that 1v1 to take him out because Bibba is neither there to help him.
I mean, this is such a tough one, and now we see a little bit of I won't exactly call this a healing strat. Oh, Purple just falls off of the side, trying to use the heals there to cushion that blow on the way in, but man, it didn't work out as planned. But there we go, the whole team from Arc Red now getting sent on into that lobby. But here we go, Destiny holding out, trying to out-heal the zone as much as they can before potentially maybe trying to move up. Motherlode now having quite a few hits being fired in their direction, and I mean, so far the odds are looking pretty tough stacked against them.
Yeah, the problem with Motherlode's position is once they come into Ravine right, the zone just moves away from them. They've got this big open space, which both Unicorns of Love and Unique control, which is just absolute rest and pepperonis for 6 right now, because there is no way that he is going to be able to get out of there. He's just going to have to heal and sit behind that rock. He is essentially already dead before he even goes out of the game. Unique are the ones realistically in control here, who control the mountainside, and as long as that zone stays on the mountain, they'll keep high ground advantage, and he'll be able to actually pin survive all of the rest of his teams against the blue.
Yeah, and I mean, but I'm liking the position though that we have here for Unique and Unicorns of Love. 6, that is a really tough spot, but you can see Unicorns of Love, they've kind of figured out that there's potentially someone out in the blue, keeping a watchful eye in that direction. But now, moving into this more centralized portion of the zone, we see 12-18, Unique, we see KDV all positioned over towards this northern end. Well, almost. Not exactly, but they're pretty close. But quite a few players still caught in the blue.
Yeah, the blue zone is not going to play clean. It's going to be absolutely dirty one here going through the first game to finish us off. And KDV are the ones here realistically in the most danger because they got 12-18 in front of them. And they got Unique just up above them, which puts them at just the same issue as Unicorns of Love. So actually 12-18 are the best on the ground here because they got compounds to take cover and shelter away from Unique on the high ground, which is more than can be said in a very open and dangerous side at the edge of the blue zone at Unique are holding on Unicorns of Love and KDV too.
I mean, but I think also that's a pretty tough position for Unique to be in because the only way down from those heals now are to jump off the side and hope that everything goes well. But KDV now starting to move on in. Both players that we saw just rotating up now, just getting stopped in their tracks there by 12-18. Brute now out in the blue zone trying to out-heal. But man, here we go. Unique, Unicorns of Love, and 12-18 left to battle things out for control of the zone. And I can't really say who I think it's in favor of. I mean, 12-18 getting hit in the process, so their positioning they had, they're being compromised.
Yeah, with Shuka down, it means the Carnivore needs to make the move through, but Halu's going to just eliminate him as soon as he tries to make that move. Neither maybe Unicorns Love do that for him as well. But because of that zone, the way it's moved against off the mountain, it means that Unique also had to make the send down. That's a beautiful one coming from the grenade. That's a double knocker here coming from Unique, and they make her engage.
Oh man, that was just absolutely phenomenal play. Quick shots coming in there from Ago, finding the hits but not finding the necessary ones to wrap up that fight. But yeah, that was crazy. But now 12-18 still alive, still in play. Unique up at the top. The only way down is to jump. And that blue zone.
They've essentially stolen this game.
I mean, dude, this has gone from a tough match into the end of the match. What an insane finish that was. 12-18, as you say there, clutching, just stealing this game away from KDV and Unique. But what a nice heal that was coming in there from Brute, just holding up in that blue zone, just trying to last as long as humanly possible, or should we say PUBG-ly possible? Make it a new word here today, but man. That was just a nice show of power coming in there from 12-18, just reading that zone. It is unfortunate that we saw the second to last player from 12-18 getting taken out with that position. But man, either way, they clutched it away, got the chicken dinner, got the 6 kills to complement that. What a start that is.
Yeah, that was beautiful steal by 12-18. So Carnivore just held on. He held on, he held on until that double grenade came through. And Unique, as soon as they descended onto that fight, 12-18, Carnivore just sniped everyone down, backstabbed them all, and was able to steal that one away for himself. It was a beautiful pick as well onto Halu as well, right at the end of that game. So that is what saves them. Also, heartbreak for Unique because they didn't even get second place. KDV Brute out-healed that all. We're on that Blues on the phase 8. So KDV steal the second position with also 5 kills. Unique take up third place with all the kills here. 13 kills in total. Unicorns of Love going to be in 4th with 4. Motherlode come up in 5th with 2 kills. Panda take up 6 with nothing. Destiny with 7 with also 3 kills. And Arc Red here in 8th position take up 3.
Man, what a play that was. We see UDR coming into that 9th place with 1 kill. Navi, unfortunately, going out in 10th place, but managing it to rake in 5 kills along the way. Konina Power coming in 11th place. The 4 Romanian Men, 6 kills, 12th place. Not a bad kill count to end off that first match. But then, of course, moving over towards the team there from Qodex. See them over in 13th place with 1. We've got Unity in 14th, also with 1 kill. We've got Just Skill finishing in 15th place. And Umbra, the first team back in the lobby. But, of course, we're gonna have a little bit more excitement coming in as we're about to move into our second Sanhok match of the day right after this one. Woo.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I am ready. I'm ready for it here, DK. This was an absolute baller of a match. Going into now the second game, just in the same map, it's gonna be so darn hype. See if what these teams can do and see who can take it through to the second chicken dinner, because already we've seen some absolute upsets and we've seen some new teams rise up to the top.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what's going to happen. And of course, on that, we're going to jump into a quick break. We'll see you guys back in a short few minutes, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a short few. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are getting ready to move into our second Sanhok match here for today. And of course, we've got our lovely leaderboard up on display. And, it is looking interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
It is looking interesting, and Navi, they hold on, Arcred hold on into second position, and even in the third position, Unicorns of Love stay there. But 12-18, they pushed themselves up, and Destiny, they fall down, along with some of the other teams who were down in that left side of the leaderboard. So other teams, like even KDV, have rose up to that 10th position. They're getting up to the top side of that leaderboard, but it's going to still be a marathon journey to go through for these teams in 10th, 9th, 8th positions to get up to the top. And that's why going into the next Sanhok match, they need to repeat what good results they just had and even try to pick up, as we say, some of those chicken dinners. Get those kills in your pockets to boost yourself up against your opponents.
I mean, if the previous match is anything to go by, right? We are in for quite the ride. Wow. Man, I'm hoping that the zone, that we maybe see something different coming in there from that zone, not heading up into I'm not going to complain though, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to complain if it heads over in towards that northwestern side again, but I mean, a bit of change is never a bad thing. Like to see a little bit of a mix-up coming in there, but so far, pretty strong show of performances and plays coming in from these teams. Anything in particular that you are expecting to see?
I would not be surprised to see a little bit more of control from some of these top teams, because the one thing that surprised me, of course, is the control around that mountainside came out from a team like Unique, who are currently in 8th position, KDV in 10th, 12-18, bolstered themselves up from 5th to 4th position, but by doing so got around 20 points in that one game alone. So that's why you see some of these lower end teams actually showing up stronger once again than the teams earlier on initially put themselves in that pole position.
Yeah, and well, speaking about pole position, I know this has got nothing to do with it, but it is a segue. Nonetheless, we've got that flight path coming in from Cow up in the north, heading down over towards the docks. So we see something that could potentially be turning into the zone, moving into a different direction there. With this easterly flight path we've got coming in, I'm praying that the zone just adds in that little extra bit of spice just to mix things up. But either way, the teams though looking pretty strong as they all descend down onto the map.
You want spice, you realistically want a southwestern zone, not just because of the way this plane path goes, but because of the way the teams drop. They don't actually initially drop down an island, so if a zone were to go there, that would be pretty brutal, especially for some of these teams like the side of Unicorns of Love, like for Romanian Men, who drop far on that eastern side. But on the other hand, if it goes the other way, they're going to be the ones in advantage. I think the only problem and concern for teams right now is actually Navi, who are very actually well split here around the two sides of the island. And with a zone like that, they need to decide exactly which side they're going to, because you're going to quickly find that some of these other teams on that east-northern side, they're going to be rotating through that bridge, and Navi best be ready when that comes.
Yeah, I mean, deja vu coming through here. And I think for Navi, that was a bit of a safe drop, you know, just having players drop either side just to see where the zone's going to go. So far, they're still looking fairly decent. I mean, they can still play the region, but now, as you said, you know, this is where we're going to be seeing whether or not Navi's going to try and move all the way across over onto that northwestern island, or if they're going to stay over on the eastern one. So, yeah, a few interesting things there to wait and see what's going to be happening. But, I mean, we're not seeing a lot of crazy drops either coming in from the teams, though.
Yeah, I think for comfort drops, it's the hardest felt by one-shot UDR. They're in 16th position, only with 23 points, and look at them over in Kampong. They have such a journey here to get back into just phase number 1, and that means that not only going the longest route, the longest distance, but also look at the way these teams are positioned. You got Konina Power on one side if you try to go around the quarry area, and if you go up alongside the coastal line, 12 level 18 are the first people you meet straight away in Lakari.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be quite the challenge for them to get through, but we'll see which way they're going to choose to rotate. But now, you were speaking of Konina Power. We see the players from Just Skill right up ahead of them, so we could have our first initiator of the match there, the first bit of action coming on through. But Konina Power quite spread out for the time being, and they've got the players from Just Skill on the one side, and then, of course, we got KDV on their western side.
Yeah, KDV here on the west side are actually going to be an interesting one because they always drop around Painan, but the way they rotate as well changes depending on the way this zone goes. And last time what KDV did was they actually rotated through the hills of Boot Camp to actually across that L-shaped building at Motherlode control into the zone from there, and then they rotated around the backside of Camp Alpha, which was a very interesting and unusual way of going about it, actually a very risky way even to go about it, considering it teams could have been controlling the hills of Boot Camp, they could have been controlling the L compound just over to the northwest island. So as a result, I would like to see a little bit of a change come from KDB. Maybe instead go outside of the hills of Boot Camp, and if you're gonna go for that direct rotation in the northwestern side, just go straight through the southwest island. Go actually through past the L-shaped compound and go through that same bridge that are just beside Motherlode, but don't take the detour to get there.
Yeah, and I mean, you just mentioned Motherlode, and speak of the devil, here we go, jumping straight into the action as Arc Red managed a few shots in their direction, but we're seeing the players there also now from Unicorns of Love starting to move in towards the scouts. They're from Just Skill, as they've now taken the opportunity to go ahead to scout out things, take that position up just behind Navi. But here comes Unicorns of Love, not wasting a single moment, finding that opportunity and putting the shot straight in towards Navarus.
Unicorns of Love, they've already found one kill, starting themselves up in the leaderboard for now. Just Skill, unfortunately, hitting the wrong side of the train here, and now it's going to be Fantasia around his next stop. And Argon going to deliver it to him, but no, it's going to be Fantasia here to shut him down. And now Beggar Mercy trying to pull on the brakes as well, but Fantasia already trying to speed up here with the heals, and now coming back in for the re-engage.
And we also now see Navi starting to move on up, the shots starting to fly in from their direction, all the action, all the shots drawing in the attention, and this is gonna be quite a bit of a third-party battle. Unicorns of Love already getting that knock on over towards them. Ooh, Ked actually trying to send a nade in, finding a bit of damage in on his teammate though. That's a bit of a rip.
Look at TNF. Bud also joining through into the fight. Fantasia just has to hold on, DK, but Fresh is the one here holding him back. Head goes back as well to stop them in the track, to actually smart to change and plan here for Unicorns of Love to hold back Just Skill from support.
Oh, and so far that really is paying off for them, finding the hit on over. And now we've got the Bard boy now starting to push on in. Trying to send a quick nade over in the direction of Fresh there, and I agree with you, Fantasia just needs to try and hold on. I'm waiting to see whether or not they'll be able to make their way around, because Unicorns of Love are taking up a really strong positioning. All four players still alive, and they're really defending their angles.
Yeah, Fresh needs to come down here and gets knocked out, and that's exactly what Bard Boy has just done. That's gonna and a little bit of room here to go in, but what you expect to see as well is Head continue to knock down the pressure from Bard Boy, and maybe Argon and also Beggar Mercy increase the pressure onto Fantasia to make sure that they can get this knock and they can actually have some way to retreat, because Unicorns of Love, they can't escape this compound because they've not finished off the final member of Just Skill already inside there.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking about pressure as well, we see the Navi team coming in with a few third-party shots over from that western side, finding the hits on through. So things are really starting to heat up as we see Umbra and Motherlode also now exchanging a few shots. Woo! And yeah, it is looking pretty tight.
Yeah, Fantasia has now been taken down as they will flew Flush with the 3 members Unicorns of Love, take down the second member of Just Skill. Now only 1 remains. Bard Boy needs to realistically go on the retreat, has to circumvent round a new way onto maybe that northwestern island, which is the majority of where this zone goes. So statistically, it's going to be where we potentially see the later phases go once again. And that's also a question of concern for teams that fought it out earlier on as well, like Unity and 4 Romanian Men, who still have to make their rotation through. Maybe they try go through that north coastline. They try actually take a rotation through, which is what we saw teams do earlier last time. But the only problem this time around is you got a team in Hartin who, crucially, Mitchie will be the one alongside Neymar to stop those rotations of teams going wide into that main island.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a bit of a challenge for these teams to make their way on in. But now, Konina Power starting to move on up right behind the 4 Romanian Men. We see 12-18 players there from UDR also now making that long treacherous push, now trying to come in from out of that blue zone. But also, still, Just Skill is now just, resorting to hiding behind that rock. But here we go. Here we go. Konina Power moving in towards the 4 Romanian Men. And they haven't spotted them yet.
They haven't spotted them yet, and you see Konina Power. They set the fire alight here, and now it will be Pioneer who has to hold up against the rock as Dexter throws a grenade and a Molotov out, but it won't land onto any of the side of Konina Power just yet. Falls a bit wide. And now Dexter, bam, Sushi, Vinny actually join up here. That's a beautiful grenade though, and that's going to hold the aggression, because I was going to say they need to join up here with Rana, because Rana is actually that core player from 4 Romanian Men who is actually out of this fight completely based on the way that Konina Power are engaging is through. The only help to them, of course, is that big fat blue zone taking them out. As you see a second one fall, and Action surely must follow suit.
I mean, this is just a brutal fight. 4 Romanian Men finding the hits on in, sending Nomi down. And now, Konina Power sits with only 2 players, but I'm only seeing 1. Gonzo. I don't know where Gonzo went.
Yeah, Konina Power, they do have the 2 members, the 1-2 split here coming through. On the other side, where actually we saw the original game engage from Pioneer, but Dexter is moving around to hold that one as well. 12-18, they do flush out the final member on that other end as Pioneer goes down once again, and now only the sole member of Machina has to hold up in the blue against the full squad, full power for Romanian Men.
I mean, this is just such a tough one. I mean, they're delivering exactly what we had hoped for, seeing that action, seeing that those insane plays coming in across the board. But, oh man, I'm feeling so sorry here for Konina Power. They were looking so good pushing in, but unfortunately, 4 Romanian Men just putting up such a line of defense there. But they still have some hope. Gonzo just lying out in the blue zone, trying to heal up. 12-18 now, also just up ahead, feeling the pressure. Ooh, but look over towards Hatin.
Yeah, Hatin is where it's at, and that's what we said. Destiny going to be the ones to stop these teams rotating through, and Unity are going to be the first ones to try engage and flush through this compound, but they've only got 3 members left.
Man, this is such a tough one. Let's see now. Unity Kinga to the last remaining potential. Well, not yet. Focus is still also alive, quickly managing to heal up in the process. But this is where things start to heat up. I'm so great to see these fights happening over on these coastlines. We didn't see that in the previous match. Everything pushing up into the hills. But here we go. That kill feed also now just lighting up as everyone is finding shots. But here we have Unity now getting hit with those third-party shots coming in from 12-18 as they make their way on in towards the zone.
Focus as well was getting smacked by those grenades. Kinga finds a beautiful one, and that's going to be a second down as Motherlode falls. Disaster for the side of Destiny. As Unity hold up, albeit as that blue zone now crashes in onto him. That was exactly when he needed to make that move, and they've got a little bit of leeway, and they need to now take out Noshi and Michi as they also run through into zone.
I mean, this is if you want to talk about a tough entry into zone, this is definitely one of those because they got Destiny in front of them, but the shots also coming in from behind. Kinga just turning around. Focus also getting taken out in the process. Down they go. Destiny come in, being the victors over in the Hatin battle, but we still continue upwards and onwards as we make our way over towards that southeastern corner. We see Panda and Unique really well positioned right there, but now also in the kill feed, Unicorns of Love starting to find a few shots in towards the Romanian Men out in the blue zone.
Yeah, it's going to be that edge of coastline battle. Unicorns of Love did not get off the coastline fast enough. And for Romanian, bam, is in the grass. He's waiting for Beggar Mercy to come into his hands and slice him down. Sushi as well, waiting for the entrance. Konina Power still alive, the third party in this fight.
I mean, this could be such an interesting fight. But here we go. Unicorns of Love now getting ready to move on in. Sushi just quickly ducking out the building, heading out the back end. But Ked and Beg for Mercy pushing up relentlessly. They want to get these shots. They want to get the action for Romanian Men just up ahead. There we go. Finds the first one in towards Sushi. Ooh, down goes Konina Power as well. Sushi actually getting hit by the hits now. Man, no, I was reading the wrong one, but here we go. Nonetheless, the players from Unicorns of Love still just pushing up. 4 Romanian Men now sitting on 2. We got Bam and we've got Rana. Bam still just there on the side in the grass, waiting in ambush for Unicorns of Love to start moving in that direction.
Looking ambush 12-18 as well. T-Carcass as well, waiting for the rest of 4 Romanian Men to make their move on top, but they need to all move because look at the way this zone has gone, and that's where you see the action realistically happen. Is Arc Red just got completely wiped, so excuse me, Umbra got completely wiped here. Is KDV are going to be the ones smacking them out around that Camp Alpha side, as that's where the zone has gone, and particularly in Camp Alpha, Unique also trying to hold the engage of Navi, who take now this 2-2 split through.
I mean, this is such a bombardment of utilities. You can see just grenades and smokes galore. There we go. Kitsune stepping on up, finding the hits in towards Mind and the Milky Way. Quite the nice fight we have erupting here between these two teams. But Navi... Oh, Panda comes in with that sneaky third-party shot off the side. So Unique sitting on 2. We've got Navi sitting potentially maybe on 2. That's, of course, unless Matic is able to pull off that res. And Panda starting to move in, coming in from the southwestern side, applying the pressure. But here we go. Unique now.
Destiny moving in here as well. Getting their way through the cars. They're driving through. They're actually crashing into the compound. And Destiny are going to be the ones to hold up strong here inside Camp Alpha as well. They are going to be the 4th team here, DK, to jump in. And Noshi and Michi are going to have to hold up against first GK first, as he's going to be the one to try take back control.
I mean, and it's definitely going to be quite the battle. But Chike, of course, sitting on the outside of the wall, on the opposite end. Not exactly where you would want to find yourself. But, man, 4 teams situated right here. This is some pretty tough odds. But it seems like Panda is now getting ready to move up, get into that zone, and just look at the lineup that we've got on the edge of the zone.
Yeah, another shift comes through. That's where the action, of course, is condensed. But on the south end, KDV, they're holding up against Arc Red once again on the south side of this mountaintop, alongside UDR, who miraculously, the furthest out to begin with, have outlived so many more of these teams closer to zone initially.
I mean, I'm liking the positioning that we see there from UDR, perched all the way up on that rock. I'm hoping the zone works out in their favor and they can continue to just capitalize on that position because, I mean, once you're up there and the zone moves in, there's almost no way down from there. But looking at the western side now, as Navi is starting to move on in, we've got Panda and Destiny just perched up on the side. Noshi finds a quick few hits in there alongside his teammate, but also gets knocked out. So everything now riding on Michi.
Michi as well has to stay alive, and he's taking down GK first to begin with. But Navi here and Matic is still alive, and they've already got to their second member to find a revive through. Linear as well is still up, which is the thorn in the side for Destiny, as they are now getting engulfed by the blue zone. Phase 6 moves away from them all and over back to the mountainside of UDR. And one-shot UDR, they could potentially steal this game away from last position, just like Qodex did in Game 2 yesterday.
Man, I am so excited to see how this one is going to end up. UDR now just starting to make their way on down from atop these hills, and so many players just up ahead of them. They've got pretty much their pick at the party. They can choose who it is that they want to shoot at. They're so well positioned up at the top, but now it comes down to whether or not they are able to leverage that positioning and use it to their advantage. Because, I mean, looking at where the zone is and where this phase is taking us, down goes Arc Red. Navi coming in with the shots there with a quick assist from UDR. 4 teams remain. Only 4. Wow.
Navi as well are the ones in control of the south end, but that grenade goes down, and that was eye on target. UDR Semi with a double knock, and that's gonna be complete wipe. A second one goes through, just insult to injury here onto the Navi side. Is now Boss gets grenade under his raining grenades and explosions from this mountaintop, DK.
I mean, and it's not even the 4th of July yet. It looks like fireworks just erupting from atop the mountain. Usually it goes the other way around, but that is just absolutely fantastic play. But here comes UDR moving down from that high position in hot pursuit of the kills. They are looking for Navi, and we still have, one team trying to heal things out over in the blue zone. So I think this might be the very end for Navi, as UDR are pushing up super aggressively. Out comes the mollies as well now.
The double mollies, both sides. The third comes through as well. These guys getting cooked. Pocus goes for the drop shot. Holds himself on the mountain for now. Edging their way closer to Boss. Trying to smoke through as well as Nano for the flank side. Nano getting shots through. Boss desperately trying to defend. And Sevi jumps through the knock. Initially can't go for the jump shot. Now Pocus falls as well. One gets picked up by Boss, but he's in the corner. He can't defend. And that's now going to be UDR taking back control. And it's just going to be Mitchie healing up as long as he can. But how many medkits do you have? Because that zone is all going to be in favor of Nano, and UDR will be the ones to take this chicken dinner.
I mean, that was just absolutely insane. Mitchie down to the final 2 meds, of course, now applying the second to last one. 1 med remains. 1 med remains between the players from UDR getting that chicken dinner. Mitchie giving us the wave goodbye, accepting the fate that is so inevitable over on PUBG with that blue zone reigning supreme. And there we go, UDR get their chicken dinner. What a play that was. What a zone though.
UDR, they were the ones to take control along the mountaintops. Again, the high ground went their way, DK. And they were the ones who, just as we said, like Qodex, come up clutch in the final day of play. And they steal away those crucial game points that some of these teams are looking for. 15 points alongside the 5 kills. That's the 20 points they need. And in fact, more points than they've almost realistically got in the first 8 games alone, 9 games even, with that extra Sanhok before us. So that's a beautiful snag for this team to pick themselves back up. Destiny as well, heartbreak for them to not be able to contest that chicken dinner, but they do steal away second position with 4 kills. And Navi fall up into 3rd position with still 10 kills in their way.
I mean, what a way to go out, though. I mean, that was just some insane plays. Navi finding some fantastic hits, you know, all pinched up against the side of the cliff there. But, you know, the shots were in favor of UDR, just finding them all the way on in. Few sacrificial lambs getting flung off the top there, you know, finding their way just to distract it. Let's say that was a distraction, you know, and it worked, all right? But well done nonetheless there to Navi. And then KDV coming in that 4th place, finishing off on 6 kills, fairly decent. I mean, in comparison to the other kill counts that we see on the board here, really well done. Panda, of course, coming in 5th place with 3. Then we've got Unicorns of Love finishing up in 6th place, wrapping up their play there with 7 kills. We got the Arc Red team over in 7th place with 3 kills. We have Unique over in 8th with 3 as well. 12-18 in 9th with 3 kills. Then, of course, the 4 Romanian men come in to 10th place with 5 kills.
Yeah, can you go through the rest, man?
Yeah,
Once
sure.
again,
I was just pausing for dramatical effect, you know?
It was beautiful dramatics.
Yes. Umbra, of course, taking 11th place there with their 2 kills. Konina Power coming in to 12th place. We've got Unity finishing in 13th with 2 kills. We had the players from Just Skill finishing in 14th place. Qodex finishing in 15th with 1. And then, of course, the players from Motherlode with the Motherlode of kills over in 16th place, finishing off with 1. So there we go. There we have it. That is the end of our Sanhok streak here for today. Next up, a bit of a change up.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a change up indeed. Erangel going to be the one to come through for us. And Erangel is where it's going to be settled for some of these teams. Whoever will be able to contest going into the final game, whoever is realistically, mathematically going to be eliminated. So now it is really do or die for some of these teams in the top to make sure they get the points they need to snatch their way up, to climb up to the top of that leaderboard and get that 700 smackaroni euros into their pockets by the end of tonight.
Yeah. So with all the action we just had, I think we need a quick break. So let's head on over into that. We'll see you guys back after a short few minutes. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, and we'll bring you back into the Erangel action. So here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, Erangel, the next match up. But before we get into any Erangel action, which I expect is going to be spicy AF, we've got some leaderboard changes that have happened after the previous match.
We do have some leaderboard changes, and it's going to be some slight changes. Unicorns of Love, they move their way up sneakily through to the second position. As well, Destiny move up into fourth position, over 12-18. And this is what we were talking about behind the break, right? Was that it's between now, here, DK, these top 5 teams who have a shot at getting to that top spot to get that prize money into their hands. Because they're the ones that are now, with only 2 games to go, they have the ability, with the amount of points still remaining realistically in these 2 games, to get there. Unfortunately, it is a little bit sad to see teams like Motherlode, who had that opportunity in the 6th spot right now, going into game 2, they could have went through also as a 6th team to contest up to the top, but they fell in 16th position. They only got 1 kill. So as a result, they don't have, realistically, unless they have absolutely amazing games, and Navi have the worst 2 games you've ever seen, a chance in that top spot.
I mean, it's going to be quite exciting to see what the teams are going to be doing. You know, we have Erangel and Miramar, and of course, anything can still happen in that. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty tough stretch, a pretty tough fight. But I mean, once again, I just need to commend Unicorns of Love, you know, moving into 2nd position, that consistency coming in. No chicken dinners yet, hopefully. You know, we got 2 games left up ahead of us. Maybe they'll add a chicken in on the list there. You know, it could happen at any point. But interestingly enough, though, we look over towards the right side of the leaderboard, right? We got Qodex and One Shot UDR. Well, big shout out there to UDR for moving up from 16th up into 13th place. Absolutely phenomenal performance there. But I mean, 2 chicken dinner winners sitting on the right hand side of that of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I think they've had they're like a bit of a one-shot wonder, right? They've had their opportunity, they've had the time to shine here going into these 12 matches in the finals. They have seen, and we've been able to see as well, what they've been able to do. But Qodex and One Shot UDR, the problem with them, even though they've got a chicken dinner, is they have not been nearly consistent enough to get to that left side of the leaderboard to be able to contest to that top, and as a result, that is why you see them so far down. I mean, realistically, One Shot UDR were only 23 points and only 9 placement points, 14 kill points before that beautiful chicken dinner that we were able to pull off in Sanhok. They also had the zone given to them to an extent as well. So that also was a key factor to them now at least moving themselves up a few spots to 13th position. But it's still just how far can they climb, because they're not going to have enough opportunity now at the end of the competition to make anything happen in terms of prize money.
Yeah, I mean, I think at most they'd be able to bring in 30 points from, you know, getting 2 more chicken dinners. And adding that on top of what we currently see, they could maybe then move into, let's say, like top 5, top 6 potentially. But, you know, it's still quite a bit of a fight still to come for these teams. And, yeah, quite a bit of a challenge. And speaking of challenges, we, of course, have a very, very nice flight path coming on this Erangel.
A nice flight path indeed, we do. We'll be coming through the center of Erangel almost here. Is teams like One Shot UDR and also KDV. You know where they're going? They're going straight down to Chinky. That's where they're going. And also Panda going to be going straight down into Roshog. These are the comfort zone areas, as well as Destiny going to be able to jump over, even north of that, over towards the shooting range and Severity side. So all of these teams, in a sense, are going to get to where they need to go in terms of their comfort drops because of this plane path. And now it's just up to see if we see any hard target dropping from teams, or if we see a really nasty zone that goes into the water some way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be quite interesting to see what that zone is going to be doing. And as you mentioned, of course, you know, all the teams have their comfort drops. They have quite a nice bit of accessibility to all those hotspots they like to, you know, frequent and go to. But But yeah, I think the big question here is going to be what that first phase is going to be bringing us.
Yeah, I definitely think the first phase is a real big question here on our minds. And also, interestingly, a question could be about how do Arc Red and Unity move through this map? Because they are the two teams, of course, in the South Island. And that, although it provides you some opportunities to either go to the right or the left side of the map, it also provides you a little bit of an issue with if this zone goes away from you, but thankfully it doesn't, means that they actually will have an opportunity to avoid a lot of these teams around the Pachinki area moving through into zone and actually have a more quiet entrance through only Konina Power.
Yeah. So we'll of course be keeping a watchful eye over on that section, but I mean, Pachinki once again now, UDR, KDV. I mean, we've seen this fight now go both ways. We've seen it go in favor of KDV. We've seen it go in favor of UDR. But this is our final showing. Now, just looking at where we see the teams, KDV already having that first initial knock come through on towards them. Hoping to see a little bit of a bounce back in from that one, as UDR is looking, well, fairly interestingly spread out throughout the region here in Pachinki.
Yeah, Poker's is just going to finish up Brute here, take them out of count. Lunatic is going to be too slow to the taking here, and as a result, will also struggle, being maybe looking to try to find a pick onto Poker's, but it's going to be quite difficult to do so as well. Look at Trovka here. He's like the eye of the triangle right now of UDR right now, just all each way side around Trovka. There is no escape, and he is going to have to greet them at the front door some way or another, because Alucis and also Nano, they're going to be the ones banging on the front.
Yeah, I don't even think they're going to bother banging. I think they're going to just rush straight in the door, kick it down, and, you know, ask no questions, and just find those hits in. And I mean, this is a tough one though, eh?
Yeah. Action first, cup of tea later, am I right? Take Trovka first. Yeah, it's Steelers kettle, Steelers tea. As Lunatic is gonna be the one as well. Caught around Poker's making that entrance in.
Ooh, nice defense there from Lunatic though, but Trovka, I mean, yeah, I think the time is the time is now. Here they come, rushing straight in, not wasting a single moment, finding the head straight on in. And now we are down to Lunatic and Voss Station, the two remaining players here for KDV, left to defend their honor and maybe retaliate against UDR. But I mean, it still could go either which way. But we see the UDR team now moving up in full force, coming in from that southeastern side.
Yeah, Nano driving straight into the fray as well means that KDV, they're also going to have to be a little bit careful in terms of the way they play around here. I'm going to reconnect into the match. Take me away, dude, because this action is giving me some issues.
Yeah, just too much action to handle there for your device. Definitely, that's the only answer, the only thing that it can be. But KDV now getting ready, finding a quick few shots there. Lunatic with some fantastic hits over on towards Ulysses. And now UDR down to one man standing as KDV starts pushing on up. We've got Voss Station now pushing on in, flanking up the sides. Lunatic keeping that watchful eye just up above. I mean, this is down to the bone for UDR. What a turn of events this has been. They've managed to get in those 2 kills, but now we see quite the challenge as KDV moving in from the ground floor as well. I thought they were up above, but no, here they are getting ready to move in. Lunatic on the one side, Voss Station flanking around, trying to find the angle over towards the window. They start to push on in, and this could be the end. Yes, in fact, it is. UDR. Oh, man, what a tough start that was for them.
Yeah, from chicken dinner back into the last place position on Erangel. really disappointing, I think, for them not the showing the course they wanted to go through, but they did actually split themselves a little bit too far apart by going for that initial pick onto the first KDV member, and that's what actually ended up taking them down as well, forcing 3 members just onto Trofka. Trofka took all the attention away, which allowed the rest of those 2 members of Lunatic and Voss Station to actually take out the flanking side of UDR's power, and that's what really was the undoing for them. And as we look through to the rest of this zone now as well, we have to also take into account more rotations coming through, and particularly landings here around Lipovka, because Unique against Umbra, 2 of these teams also fighting out for that ability to jump up in the leaderboard. Umbra right now in that last place position need to try make a statement by taking out a 7th place team of Unique right now, but only the trio to do so is going to be very, very difficult indeed.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to look at Unique here. They've got a 2-2 split coming in. Well, 2 of the players we have situated just over towards the north of Umbra. The rest of the team, I'm not quite sure where they are, though. I can't...
Taking
Oh!
a power nap. What's happening?
Wow. That is... Yeah, that is... Oh, no, never mind. They flanked all the way down to the south. So they're coming in with a 2-2 split. 1 in the north, 1 in the south. Moving on up in towards Umbra. So this could actually be quite the interesting position as we see Umbra now starting to rotate out. And we see Mind and Go just positioned over towards the south, trying to pick off a few shots into that rotation of UDR.
Yeah, they will surely get out of here intact, and I don't expect any of them to fall, albeit they might have to get a pickup if one of their vehicles falls down, but Unique are a little bit slow in the draw. You see the rest of Unique actually rotating to the north side. It means that they're not actually wanting to go for this fight. I'm also looking at the rotations coming up from Destiny, who make their way into the zone from that north side through the Yasnaya choke point, and that's going to be interesting to see actually as they dodge out the entire city as Yasnaya Polyana, where they choose to go, potentially down towards that mansion side, but looking down around that area, that's actually where Konina Power here are having a little bit of a struggle, because that knock comes through not by any other team member or by opponent, it actually comes through from their miscommunication and driving, man. They need to put their L plates on.
Yeah, that is what happens, you know, if the scouts go out and they just push a little bit too far. And, you know, that's a tough start there for just skill. But now also looking over towards the prison side, you know, Umbra just making their way on through, moving about. We've got the players there from Arc. Red, of course, just situated right behind them. But also now in the northwest, we've got Panda moving in on over towards Qodex.
Yeah, Qodex as well. Going to be rotating through. Panda initially trying to rotate through past that Yasnaya bridge and actually choosing to go initially for the same rotation that Destiny were going for. But as a result, because of that red zone in a way, it's actually made them as well concerned to the blue zone coming in quite quickly right now. In teams potentially going through that Yasnaya bridge, that they move down into the actual central side of the zone, and they actually tried to make a direct entry instead into the entrance and into the center of this cluster of teams already in the center place.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty spicy one. I mean, we've got the players there, you know, with the likes of Navi and Unicorns of Love also now coming in with their rotations, heading on in from that northwestern side. Panda now just, you know, solidifying their positioning, waiting to see where the next phase is going to be going. And of course, it just closes in on itself. So not a major shift there with regards to the zone, but we see a little bit of mobilization now coming in from the teams. We still have a few trying to get ahead of that blue zone, as I mentioned. But now this is where it gets interesting as we look to the teams to see where they're going to be moving in. But Destiny already now, you know, mobilizing, moving up, trying to improve their position.
Destiny as well, as you say, moving into the high ground spot of mansion is going to actually be quite good for them here, because on the edge of zone, they've actually rotated into the quiet side of the rotation actually. They're not going to be able to be caught out by teams going along this coastline. In fact, dipping past mansion and into the prison hills actually still provides you with the high ground, but even more high ground. in high ground over teams that are actually already there, like Umbra. They're going to have a slightly higher elevation, and they're actually going to be able to scout round one at a time. And because of the rotation of Umbra, PRZ is not there to help, which means it's actually a 2v4 situation for them.
I mean, what a capitalization on positioning that was coming in there from Umbra. A little bit of a tough rotation there from Destiny. I mean, Noshi just running straight up into that one. That was a beautiful ambush, though, coming in from Umbra.
Yeah, Umbra, they are able to find that assassination initially. The pick as well was the crucial part of it from Hardman, actually bringing down an entire member of Destiny's power. So as a result, that's why Destiny go for an interesting split here with Mitchie going on along the hard flank and actually spending a little bit of time seeing if Umbra will forget about him and then come up behind him and backstab them both.
I mean, that could be super interesting to see, but now that is a bit of a tough one as we have the players from Arc Red just situated right there over in the lumberyard. So if Michi moves too far, that could also mean another player getting sent right into the lobby.
Yeah, Mitchie certainly has to be careful because, of course, being that flank side, you're still very vulnerable as the sole player on that flank side and responsible to keep it up, not just for this fight, but also for the future because Mitchie is edging his way towards the center of that zone, which currently, as we say, is controlled by Konina Power, but the journey in is blocked by Destiny, by not only Umbra, but Arc Red as well, who have that very strong split on a diamond formation on the mountains of Milta in between shelter, and they actually have the rocks overlooking not just this flat area of the deforested area of the map, but actually down the hills where Mitchie and Umbra sit as well.
Yeah, and that is a pretty tough one. Now to add to that, we see the players here from Unique now coming in right behind them. But I like how Destiny played this little dance that they had on the hillside here. You know, just using the terrain in their favor so they can actually get into the vehicles and make a potential, you know, escape as we saw. But now Unique starting to move on in. Umbra just up ahead of them on the opposite end of the cliffs here. And we have that blue zone moving in. Also, strange enough, all the teams are in the zone.
Yeah, all of the teams very, very respectful here. Of course, only one shot UDR out of the game to the hands, of course, of KDV, who are making their way through that farm side. Also for Romanian Men, Unity made it off the South Island, one way going to the West Bridge for Unity, now over on Potato Hill, and for Romanian Men chose to opt for that direct entry through into the farm area, and they're going to be sitting quiet, and we realistically have to wait for either teams to get a little bit too close to another, potentially Qodex over Konina Power, for example, rotating through one hill away from each other, or either the next phase to force these teams into uncomfortable positions, because every team has a spot for themselves, albeit not a big space around them controlled.
Yeah, we definitely have. And of course, you know, speaking about spaces, the only place that we see that is a little bit contested at the moment is Prison, with Umbra and Unique taking up occupation here. Umbra still holding the sides of the cliffside, and Unique now making a bit of a move. You see Milky Way and the Mind pushing straight on in to go through and potentially grab some loot. But you know, the other player, there's a reason I'm avoiding the name, because I don't want to slaughter the name just yet. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Halu?
Yes, there we go. Let's just go with Halu. Yes. All right, thank you for the save on that one. So Halu now just on the opposite end. But strangely enough, UDR now, not UDR, Umbra, taking the opportunity here to rather rotate away as that zone now comes in once again. But look at that northeastern side, Konina Power and 1218.
Yeah, Konina Power 1218 going to be smacking forces here around the shelter and Milta area and around Arcred as well, as all of these teams shoot for a position in that Milta houses in the coastline, because that's the way the zone hard shifted. There was no teams around the Milta side, and that's why these teams are rushing direct entry into it, because if you can get vision, and you can get control around the hills of Milta, or even inside some protection of Milta town itself, that provides you an opportunity to get so much further in the game than these teams with the later rotations in.
Yeah, and I'm really liking how the players here from Arc Red kind of read this rotation coming in here from the zone, taking up a beautiful 2-2 split, but now quickly jumping over towards that western side. 4 Romanian men up in farm, finding the heads in towards Unity as they start to make their rotation in, pushing up.
Unity, they're being very, very aware of their position. They've already been able to find the initial knock, and it's going to be taken right back as 4 Romanian men smack down and one themselves.
Oh, and here they come now, moving in to finish it off. Focus, the last remaining hopeful, finds the hit in towards Bam, but Dexter just comes running in, duck feet and all, to wrap it up and send them off. But man, now 14 teams remain. Konina Power looking fairly decent with their placement there, but I'm still liking what I'm seeing coming in there from Arc Red.
Yeah, I think I love the position actually from Arc Red. The only concern for me is they are this 2-2 split with many teams around them. So actually, it provides the opportunity for a team like Just Skill to dive in on top of the rest of the enemy members and actually control some space for their own.
I mean, what an opportune move that was coming in here from Just Skill. That was, in fact, Just Skill. That was just amazingly done. But here we go. Quick sneaky nade getting sent on over. Impress finding a quick shot in towards them. Up they come. Oh, TNF now the last remaining hopeful for the team. Will he survive? Well, he wasn't the last one, fortunately. There we go. Miscalculation on my end, but here we are. Some beautiful shots. Yes, he was the last one there. Luckily, yeah. Bard Boy had rotated off.
Yeah, Bad Boy was like absolute foresight. He already knew that his team was down. It's either no save for the future sight here for his team to keep his team in the running. Still 14 teams alive, as we say. Only going to be the side of Unity and one-shot UDR out of 15, 16 spots respectively. But that zone, once again, brutally shifting away from Milta Power. We thought it was going to go over there. So did the rest of the teams. And now they're going to have to move their way back to where they originally were sat, around those hilltops. And that road is going to be the crucial factor to splitting these teams apart. Which side do you want to go?
I mean, well, you got options, you know. You can still choose and then hopefully get a decent position to come into. But the 4 Romanian men, I think they are just loving the odds at the moment. But on the other end, we've got Navi and Unique starting a little bit of an exchange over towards this eastern edge of the zone. You see a quick few exchanges, nothing too crazy just yet, but Unity now starting to move in with their numbers.
Unity as well, as you say, moving through. And they actually, Navi, control the stronghold of the eastern side, respectively. And that's going to be the core spot that some of these teams perhaps look for. But as we say, Unity, down on the other side, they're going to also have to make their entrance in some way or another quietly in, because they are the ones in between a lot of the rest of these teams. And also, interesting rotations coming through from Motherlode on his coastal side. They just came off the ocean. They're actually on the bridge side, around that gas station, away from all the other teams. They dodged out from that action.
That's a really neat rotation coming in. But now just look at what we're seeing here. KDV starting to move on in. We see those shots come in right as they try to rotate up. The 4 Romanian men just lying in wait, just finding the hits in towards them. Lunatic now just trying to duck and weave in between the structures to find a little bit of hard cover. But I mean, 4 Romanian men, they are just so beautifully spread out that it's no challenge for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, Motherlode, though, Konina Power, Pioneer, they're just straight in the faces of the entire squad of Motherlode. Takes one down. Alongside, of course, Unicorns of Love, Umbra, facing out against each other on the other side of Milta, on the north edge. And Unicorns of Love, they're unfortunately struggling a little bit here as Umbra still in control of the edge of this compound.
I mean, and the rotations now starting to come on in Motherlode now, just quickly trying to see if there is an easy route or an easy way back into the zone. But here they come, moving up, improving their position, coming in right there alongside Konina Power. We've got a few grenades, of course, getting sent on over just to welcome them into the zone. Umbra now trying to make their rotation on out, but the shots are flying in there from Unicorns of Love, not giving them some breathing room. Or, well, not really allowing them entrance into the zone. But Hardman now trying to return the favor over towards them.
Look at Konina Power as well as gatekeeping them all away. Even the Arc Red on the far side gonna also be the pain on the side of their foot as well, because Unicorns of Love are just not going to be able to get out of this. So with so many players gatekeeping them away, in fact 3 different squads from 3 different angles stopping them and beg for mercy, the only one alive.
And down goes the players. They're getting sent off one by one. And Unicorns of Love, as you mentioned, you know, down to beg for mercy. And this is quite the lineup of teams, though. What a defensive line we see coming in with as the players just move on in, get ready and prep. But now Konina Power starting to battle things out with Arc Red just up the hill.
Yeah, Arc Red, they find a crucial knock, and that's going to be able to be the option now for Konina Power to dive in into the fray as Unicorns of Love, beg for mercy, does escape into the edge of zone, but how long is he going to live for? He's 1 versus 4, 1 versus 6 with the rest of Arc Red here on his side, and Unique also wiping out Panda on that north side of Shelter.
I mean, it is just action upon action upon action. I mean, I'm having a pretty hard time to decide where to go. But, you know, Unique just finding the shots in towards Panda, sending them off. But now also we see the players from Destiny moving in behind the players from the Arc Red team. So several shots, in fact, rather finding their way over towards Michi. And this is such a tough entry point here for them.
Yeah, Michi is going to have to find an entrance in, but Michi's already down. Motherlode is the only one alive, and he's on the edge of the afterlife here. It's now Arc Red circle round, deliver that death to his doorstep. And that's going to be Arc Red back in the Wizard's Tower, as you like to call it, on the edge of the zone. But that zone shifts away once again, away from them all. And now Konina Power, Arc Red, still Unicorns of Love alive somehow, some way. All need to rotate even further to that northwestern end.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely horrendous when the Reaper comes knocking on your door. But I mean, 7 teams, 21 players still remain, as you mentioned there. Unicorns of Love still just trying to out-heal that blue zone. We got 4 Romanian men just on the opposite end of the zone there. Konina Power still looking fairly strong. All 4 players still in play. Everyone up alive and kicking. Arc Red, yeah, also still 4 players, but they're still pretty spread out.
Yeah, that's the problem, right, with Arc Red is they actually don't have, realistically, the control. Because even though they do have a nice split, it's outside of the zone. They need to all move out into the open, into this open road. And that's what Chalika, the 1218, is trying to do first. And brave that journey in. Because that's what we said. Which way do you want to go? Because if that zone goes away from you, there's that open, flat roadside that any team can take you down from. And Konina Power going to take down Arc in that journey through.
And we will see the players here from 4 Romanian men improving their position up towards the team there from Qodex, who's busy battling it out with 1218 up on the hill. Finding a few shots. We got the players from Qodex, of course, just getting 1 knock over towards them. 1218 holding up on the opposite end, losing 1 player, getting 1 knock in as well. So now it is down to Talika and Carnivore to defend for the side of 1218. I mean, these are pretty tough odds stacked up against all these teams. So many numbers, so many bodies still just up ahead of them.
Look at the 1-for-1 trade as well, but a flash comes through for Qodex onto 4 Romanian men, and they also put down more defensive grenades, gonna allow them a little bit of a leeway, but they have to get Bam. Bam's the other one coming in through. It might just be able to take out Weight, but no, he falls as well, and now has a second down for 4 Romanian men. Disaster also here for the rest of 1218, as they also fell on their rotation in.
Oh man, things are just heating up. So we got Arc Red, we got 4 Romanian men and Qodex, but Arc Red, they have been able to squeeze into the southern edge of the zone. We're still now waiting to see where Qodex is going to try and come into that zone. A pretty tough entry point lies ahead of them. Dexter now just showing exactly how tough it is, but of course the shots come straight in. Now Sushi trying to make things work. Qodex pushing forward. They are being absolutely relentless. They need to get into the zone. They want to get into the zone. And come blue zone, they will force their way in.
That's all from the smoke rows. They've been delivering beautiful smokes to block the vision from Romanian Men. Arc red against them. And now they take down maybe another Sushi, but it's dire times are falling to Arc.
Oh, up comes Qodex moving in. They are down to one player. Fowler, the last remaining hopeful. Arc Red just getting served some easy kills on a silver platter as the blue zone forces them forward. And here we go, the grenades now getting sent all over the place as Arc Red is fishing for the hit markers, fishing for the damage, and also fishing for a chicken dinner. Wow, this is getting so close. I mean, if Fowler was any closer over towards Arc Red, that would have been the end right there with that molly that we saw coming in just now.
Yeah, certainly there's no escape. As soon as he peaks himself up, he's going to be found. He's going to be out of the game. Impress Purple, two different directions, two different blockades here. And also in the zone. That's why they got the control. That's why Arc Red surely win this one through.
Oh, I mean, this is now the final countdown. Fowler trying to sneak on up. Gets up. Oh, whoa. Arc Red just finds some easy shots on in. I mean, you could see Qodex was trying to potentially get on in behind some hard cover, their vehicle, but realized it is just a little bit too far away. And pays the ultimate price. Gets sent in to the lobby in second place behind Arc Red. I mean, what a phenomenal show of dominance that was coming in there from Arc.
Yeah, beautiful 10 kills coming through. The patience from Arc Red in those final stages, using actually a 2-2 split. The first one didn't work out, but the second one did because of all the chaos that first rotation caused on teams trying to take them out. Yes, Qodex were able to hold on into second position because actually it was a beautiful flank side from Fabi that pulled off the 2 versus 1 onto 12-18 and pulled them back down into that 4th position. But as we see, Qodex, they snipe them through away into second position with not just second, but also 5 kills on top for Romanian Men, the ones between them all, and third, also with 11 kills. That's a juicy number coming through for them, despite the fact they weren't able to control that final few moments. 12-18 as well, take up 4 kills in 4th. Konina Power also in 5th with 5. Unicorns of Love in 6th with 2. Unique in 7th with 3 kills. And Destiny as well, pick up 4.
Yeah, 8th place for them there. And I mean, that was such a tough play. Panda coming in there with their 2 kills over in 9th place. We've got Motherlode sitting in 10th place. Then, of course, the team from Umbra managing 5 kills, getting sent out in 11th. Navi coming in with 1 kill. KDV, 4 kills, 13th place. We got the players there from Just Skill, of course, then over in 14th place, getting sent back empty-handed. Unity in 15th. And UDR claiming 2 kills in 16th. What a change around that was, though, coming in from Sanhok over in towards Erangel. Ooh, man, that was just an absolutely insane one.
Yeah, that was a beautiful game here to get us through into the final one. And Miramar is just one game away, one final game here, DK, to determine who gets that prize money, who gets to that top spot. Because albeit Navi, they had another bad game, so that opens up the leaderboard. Who could potentially steal that number 1 spot away if Navi suffer another bad defeat?
I mean, it. You got me on that one. I don't know, but of course, we're about to get into our final match. Miramar, as you mentioned, so Let's jump into a quick break while we prep ourselves for the insane game that is going to be Miramar. Lots of action. Everything comes down to this final match. So without much further ado, we're going to head over into the break. We'll see you guys back in a short few minutes. What's up, guys? Welcome to the final match. Miramar is the name. Oh, and a lot of action about to come in as we see our lovely leaderboard again on the side here. What a change up it has been, though.
It has been a change up indeed. Arcred, they steal away that first spot from Navi. And now Navi, they need to come back through to that top spot because Arcred are the new kings of the leaderboard and new kings of this lobby with 3 chicken dinners off of that win in that Erangel match. 145 points, but only 4 points separating them from that first and second spot. And I think it's important here to look not just at the prize, the positions, the leaderboard, but also the prize pool, right? In terms of the fact that you've got first place going to take home the 400 euros, second place takes 200, and third place takes home 100 euros as well. So as a result, it's not just these Arcred Navi Unicorns of Love teams that have the opportunity to take money home. It's also going to be up to its final game if 12-18 and Destiny can have those standout games, and even to an extent a little bit of Romanian Men. They still have that opportunity, these 3 teams, at least if they have a beautiful game, to take home that third place, if anything, off of Unicorns of Love. So these teams aren't out of danger yet.
They are still in the running for a share of that prize pool. I mean, I'm expecting to see quite a bit of a battle to come in here. You know, we see Arcred sitting in a very comfortable position right at the top there, but not out of the woods just yet. Navi, 4 points behind them. So we could see a bit of a battle coming in between the two. I don't think we're going to be seeing them, you know, dropping on top of each other and, you know, just trying to end off the discussion right there.
That would be a quick way to delete one of your chances. Great news for the other one.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm definitely expecting still to see, you know, a bit of a fight coming in across the board as, you know, we are making our way over in towards that flight path. And I mean, a very southeasterly flight path with that as well.
Yeah, I think this is actually going to pay homage to these top teams, particularly to the likes of Destiny and 4 Romanian Men, who always end up around us Los Leones' side. So these are 2 of the teams that we talked about potentially taking money home, but actually Destiny needs to be the ones on top, because if 4 Romanian Men take them out, not only are they harming Destiny's chances completely of taking anything home at all, but they're also boosting their own chances if 4 Romanian Men can have a beautiful game to finish this off. But it's also going to take Unicorns of Love and 12-18 above them as well to fall short on the final hurdle.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be quite the hurdle to get over as we see the teams now starting to disembark off of the plane. They're heading down in towards the map, and yeah, we see a beautiful line of players though making their way on in, heading up in towards the north. But we see 4 Romanian Men and 12-18 heading in towards the south there. Strangely enough, we don't see any teams aside from 4 Romanian Men dropping down over in Los Leones.
Yeah, Los Leones has already realistically been this very, very quiet area in the Miramar map for all of these teams. No one really wants to take the city down because of the fact it's very difficult, as we've seen in previous games, to escape the city if teams start to crowd around you. But we're going to have, for the first time, no Los Leones action, and it actually will be for a new time this time around. It's that northeast, that all about happy end of the Patron, and I love that because we get to see now not only happy end of the Patron, but my favorite spot on Miramar, which is that San Martin plateau. And that plateau here around KDV and Navi, either team could take that and have optimal vision of not just San Martin and Happy Ender, but the entirety of that flat ground in those hills around them.
Yeah, that could definitely be a very beautiful position to take up. But I mean, let's talk about how the teams have dropped in. We see Umbra and the players here from Unity dropping right down over in the Graveyard and Minus Generales. Destiny right behind them over in La Bendita. And then, of course, Arcred and Navi in and around the Picado region. So we're seeing a little bit of an aggressive drop coming in from the teams.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be the complete burial of hopes and dreams for one of these teams because they are right now 14 for Team Umbra, 15 for Power Unity on the leaderboard. And whoever falls down now essentially could find themselves on the bottom of the pack completely. So this is a still very important fight for pride here and for respect against the other teams in this lobby because either one could essentially harm their chances completely of even falling off of that last spot.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at how Umbra is stacked out against the Unity, moving in here, we see only a two-man split in this position, and of course, we see PRZ over towards that far western side on the opposite end of the road. So this, I mean, I'm hoping that Umbra moves in a little bit closer just to reinforce their position, because we see Hardman over here tapping away over towards Kinga, just finding a few easy shots in towards them. But I mean, there's no real show of force here for Umbra.
And that's when we have to go back to the previous games, right? We have to actually look at how these teams won against each other previously. And one time around, it was the fact that Umbra were slightly too split, where you saw Hardman getting overrun by the four members of Unity. And on the other hand, actually, it's Unity who got overrun by Umbra, actually doing the same thing, but against Bukia and also Kinga, where they were actually standing right now, as Bukia tried to run down that hillside and got caught out. This time, it looks a little bit like the first option, though, the first scenario of Unity overrunning Hardman, and that's the concern here, especially considering that Umbra, again, PRZ, not only just a three-member team, but PRZ very, very far away from support, which means Unity, they have a very good opportunity with the positioning around Hartman optimal on that 2-2 split to try burst their way through one compound at a time and take out Umbra one member at a time.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm really loving the spread that we see with that 2-2 split coming in here from Unity. I mean, they could really leverage that and use it and find those hits in towards Umbra, as you were just mentioning. But of course, you know, they also seem to be a little bit hesitant, you know, not wanting to move up just yet, not wanting to risk everything just yet. Just trying to see what Umbra is going to be doing, as we did have a few shots there from Hardman over towards Kinga. So, yeah, we have a bit of a Mexican standoff coming in.
Yeah, and we do, and indeed also standoff here around other teams rotating through to the top side. And interestingly enough, that standoff going to be happening through Picardo and around Park, who are fishing for position over around Navi. But unfortunately for them, Navi, the ones coming up first, as they find the initial knock onto one of their members, Striker, already knocked away on their rotation out of Picardo, actually locking them into the compound as Navi overlook the hilltops, forcing Arc into another rotation around the other side. But Boss is already there, and that's a heads-up play from Navi, actually pinstering Arc Red into the compound that they landed in.
I mean, that is a big brain play that we see coming in right there from Navi. And, well, here we go. Now they're starting to move in, starting to tighten the grip that they've got on Picardo just down below. So it's going to be interesting to see just how much pressure they'll be applying over towards Arc Red. But now, to add to that, we've got the players from Just Skill now starting to move in from the south, adding in a few third-party hits.
Yeah, unfortunately, gonna be that undoing of Navi's pressure, right? Because Just Skill, they find that easy pick. And actually, although it does provide some leeway for the side of Arc Red, they still have to be aware that's still another team that they know are ranked, because they knew that it was Navi the ones that took out Striker, and Just Skill took out Navi. So they're certainly going to be somewhere close, and that's why I see Arc Red. The only other option for them is take a long detour around that south side rotation. And that's a smart decision coming through from them. Understanding that the way Navi were, there were three members on that eastern side. So realistically, Just Skill will also be coming from the eastern side.
I mean, this is such an interesting rotation that we see in Navi now, just venturing further in towards the south, potentially looking for those hits over in towards Arc Red. I mean, you can see them scanning. They are not trying to move into compound. They are actually actively looking about, trying to see if they can spot any of that movement. But fortunately for Arc Red, they've just managed to evade detection for the time being. Biba slowly moving up the back just holding that anchor point within the zone. But here we go. The shots now starting to fly in between Arc Red and Navi as they find them. And up they come. Ooh, but once again, a beautiful pincer move from Navi.
This is first and second place battle here between these two teams. One of them goes out, one of them loses the opportunity. Purple with the aggressive drive through, but Matic can't find him. And Purple makes it through into the compound, but Arc Red, they are so split. Look at Bibber. That is a long triangle formation, and that is Boss in the center of it all, gatekeeping away Bibber from joining up to the rest of the team.
Yeah, that is definitely a very tough spread for Arc Red. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. At the moment, I can't really, you know, say who I think is going to be the one to get the jump in. But Navi looking really, really aggressive with their movements. Ooh, a few shots though flying in as Navi now starts pushing in over towards Arc Red. This is now down to the wire for Purple, up ahead as two players from Navi move in. Beautiful molly though getting sent on in, but Purple just finds the hits in towards Navi just to hold them off a little while longer.
He's found one, but Matic has arrived onto the scene, and he is like Inspector Cluedo. He's like, where did my teammate die, and which room did they die in? And Purple has been found out. He was the perpetrator. He is now out of the game, and now the rest of Arc Red should follow. Impress is very, very split in the open. There's going to be no ideal situation for him to retreat round away from, and as a result, Bibber is just going to be that solo player on the edge of the zone to hold out as long as they can for Arc Red for point and to stay in that first place spot.
I mean, that is that's quite sad though. I mean, a very unfortunate positioning there for Arc Red, you know, just spreading themselves out so thin. I mean, they did try, you know, to get the shots in, to get their hits going, but I mean, there comes Boss now with the band just to end off Impress. Off they go, and Bibber now left to survive, caught in between the red zone and the blue zone. Want to talk about that rock and a hard place?
Yeah, you can make a purple zone with that one. That's what I'm telling you. That's the color mash we want to see. DK coming through. In the color mash, we get to see around the graveyard scene, which is going to be Umbra, joined up not only by Unity, but 1218. They are joining up as a third-man party here to try take some kills into their pockets as well.
Yeah, this is a nice evolution of the rotations that we see here. Unity taking up that position over towards the north. Umbra now just moving in, waiting to see if they can find the angle. But as you mentioned, 12-18 pushing on up from the rear. Yeah, this could be pretty tough odds. And I mean, Umbra still could find a few hits. But if 12-18 go out here, this is a very sad ending for them today.
Yeah, 12-18, they need these points, right? They need to get that 28-point gap between Unicorns of Love in third place, 12-18 and fourth closed. And this is a way to do it in a way because you actually are taking out a bottom side of the leaderboard. So Umbra falling down, Unity falling down, it doesn't actually impact any other team, but it does age you in the sense of you are taking out statistically lesser skilled teams. In 12-18, doing so targeting this graveyard compound, which I assume they have realized it by now. Umbra and Unity are ones that drop in it time and time again, and that's why you see a very careful rotation through coming from Unicorn and T-Cux as well, alongside that 2-2 split from Shalika and Zekonivore, actually pincering through Hardman. And once Hardman is taken out of the equation, they make that wide flank round into the edge of zone and are going to look for the later game pressure of pressuring Umbra on the edge of zone.
Yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful strat that we see coming in here from 12-18. You know, just utilizing the information they are able to gather in on Umbra, just rotating up. Of course, having the players move in, not all at the same time, but one by one, just leapfrogging their way into the zone and into the region. I mean, just look at them go. Here they are, just moving up to Lika now, just further pushing in, trying to establish that entry point.
And especially through that mountain size as well. moving forward now onto Unity, but Unity, they are going to be that little bit safer team. They are already in the compound, a hillside away still from 12-18, so they're not going to be spotted out, and Umbra are actually left alone because Umbra were the ones that were staying quiet. They weren't making the sound with the noise of movement of guns, and they actually got away with their lives. As a result, they minimize the potential for information coming through from 12-18 based on what they can hear, but what we can see is Unity smacking down Shalika, and Unity, they need to still find 3 more.
I mean, we're seeing some beautiful strats coming in across the board here. Unity spread out now, getting separated as the shots find their way on in. Kinga down to the wire. Almost no health remains. But it's still, they start to push on in, still applying the pressure in on towards Unity. So 12-18 now making the most of their positioning. But now also Umbra starting to move up. They're getting drawn in by the action.
Yeah, Umbra joining in. You can certainly hear it happening. We can certainly see it on the kill feed. But as you say, Kinga came up clutch. And with that clutch of moves come 2 of 12-18's members falling short. So Carnivore and Unicorn, the previous rear side support from 12-18 now needs to turn into the front side support. But taking all that kill feed, bad time for Konina Power to drive off into the wrong side once again, because Just Skill, they're going to be up against them, and Just Skill maybe have that advantage with that initial knock.
Yep, and now we wait to see whether or not Gonzo will be able to use the element of surprise in his favor. He's managed to move in right behind them, finds the first one in towards Bard Boy. We've got Nabarus now, of course, just up ahead. So this is an interesting play that we see. A little bit of a bounce back. I mean, Just Skill still sitting on 3 players, but only Nabarus is right here up alongside Konina Power. So this could be a potentially tough position to hold, as the rest of the team are still elsewhere and haven't moved in to fortify this position.
Yeah, TNF and Fantasia did, with their pincer movement, get some reward. They actually took out the other flanking member, and actually as a result, one Konina Power just to Gonzo, and that's the sole player coming through. Konina Power, they were starting here with 7th position. They needed a miracle, and that is not the type of miracle you want to be talking about here to get your way up into that 3rd spot, DK. And as a result, it's only going to be Gonzo fishing for points, fishing for placements, because that prize money is all but down and added account for Konina Power by now.
Yeah, I mean, it is it's sad and unfortunate, but it is true at the end of the day. But I mean, looking at the southern end of the zone, Unity 12-18, Umbra still hanging around there. But now if we look up over in towards the north, Motherlode, Qodex, Unique up there, right alongside each other, just battling it out. And Motherlode down to their last final player, as Cheese is not just trying to make his way on through what is left of the zone.
As well, moving away into zone, Panda up against the side of Navi. Along this water treatment at the end break in this hillside. Navi, they previously won out the fight, keep in mind, against Arc Red, but Arc Red are still alive. 16 teams still up. But Navi, they instead this time, instead of going for the attack, they retreat away for that better position, understanding that they're still not inside the zone. And actually, smart decision here, because what we're going to do is rotate through Happy Ender, and I assume go for that hilltop just on the southwest of the zone itself, and get that high ground vision over the likes of one-shot UDR in that open field.
I mean, speaking about open fields, we just saw a beautiful molly getting sent on there from Unique over towards Motherlode, ending them off, sending them back into the lobby. And well, now we move on. 4 Romanian men taking up that position within the compounds. We saw a quick shot coming in there over towards KDV. But Bam and Dexter looking fairly decent, taking up position behind the wall here. But I mean, that is almost centralized zone, but the south is still looking pretty tough.
And we'll have to see if Romanian Men can be as aggressive as Chinese region counterparts. Am I right here? Bam and Dexter going to be overlooking KDV. The 4 members inside the little baby town here, inside the center of zone. and Happy End of the Patron going to be the direct center of zone on that beautiful. Oh, just look at that in the center of zone. That is what you want to see. And more beautiful here is that hilltop. But it is hiding because that hilltop overlooking that crossroad of points into the center, that's actually going to be so strong if someone can control that, and almost as strong like the plateau and like the advantage that plateau provides on around the Happy End of the Patron that we talked about before.
Yeah, I mean, so many teams still left to try and rotate on in. We see the players there, of course, from Panda now making their entry into zone, coming in from that southwestern side. Just Skill, just up ahead of them. 12-18 and Umbra also exchanging a few shots, but here we go. Panda now moving on in, trying to see if they can find the hits over towards Nabrus and Fantasia. Oh, the only two remaining players here for Just Skill, so this could be quite a bit of a fight. They are sitting right at the bottom of the leaderboard.
Just Skill, Fantasia here as well, and the other side is going to need to make sure that they move their way into zone. I assume Unity will play it safe for now. Also, should 12-18 do so. I like that they're actually sending Unicorn first for points, whilst that Carnivore goes for the kills, because this is what they need. They need these kills, and if the Carnivore can find them, that's beautiful for it. They found a vision on to stay, and he's dodging, dip, left, right, and the Carnivore just can't find him. Just one more shot would do it, but it's not enough. One shot will not come through, and Sion survives with his life.
Some sneaky evasive maneuvers coming in there, but I mean, this northern section of the zone now really starting to heat up as Qodex and Destiny battling it out. Qodex trying to find their way on in, everything now riding in on Fowler. Michi just up ahead, just holding a beautiful shot though coming in from Fowler. Nice headshot. Now, Nochi just up ahead. Noshi rather, not Nochi. But here we go. Fowler running in with the M4, trying to find that approach. Sends off a quick nade. Just trying to break things up. Trying to find a little bit of potential damage just to make the push a little bit easier. But here we go. Oh, Qodex. Off they go. Destiny hold on to fight yet another zone. But now as we move on up once again, Unicorns in Love taking a few liberty shots over towards KDV.
Yeah, but KDV, they found a knock-up with a grenade onto Beg for Mercy, and with the rest of his team begging for mercy too, because they are out, and that is not the ending they want. That is now the open door for the rest of these teams, 12-18 and Destiny, to make it through and get these points on board, because Unicorns of Love with a team in third place. They're out. They can't get any more points, and as we say, the opportunity has now arisen, but who can come to the occasion? Arc Red striking first against now Just Skill.
I mean, so many hits. This map is just starting to light on up. I mean, coming into this, we said it was going to be hard. We said it was going to be spicy, but I didn't expect it to be this hard and spicy, as there's so much action erupting across the map. I mean, just look at the zone. This is absolute insanity.
Yeah, and insanity right now is Panda engage onto 12-18. 12-18 need to find a squad wipe onto all of Panda. All their chances of the prize money is all but gone.
Oh, I mean, and you can see them trying so hard, but Panda also not giving up. They are relentless in their efforts, trying to find the knocks in towards 12-18. Oh, 2 men up against 4. This is a pretty tough one. A lot of utilities getting sent in all directions, but here we go. Panda now getting ready to move on up. They find the first hit coming in. Unicorn is the last remaining player for 12-18, but Panda, oh man, just coming in, circling about, finding the hits, and off they go. 10 teams remain. Our top 10 teams for the Miramar map.
Last map is the 12-team Panda upset the 4th place team of 12-18. They are out. Say adios to the hopes and dreams of getting that prize money, that is gone in the wind of the Miramar Dunes. As now Panda tries to find a stronger position into the center of his zone, but controlling the center, the strong position is the side of Unique. They've actually got the strength of this hilltop. They can dip under if need be, and they can still pressure optimally onto both Romanian Men and Konina Power down inside the town below.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is one of those moments where I say I am so thankful that I am watching this and not playing. I mean, my nerves would have been absolutely shot just looking at the movements and the positioning of these teams. That zone now once again moving up. We've got Navi getting caught on the edge of the zone just on this western side. Ooh, UDR trying to move on in. Ulysses finds a beautiful shot in towards Navi. And I mean, what a defensive shot that was. What a comeback we are seeing coming in here from UDR.
Yeah, it's going to be so important here now for Romanian Men. The only chance realistically for a team to snatch that third place position. They need to wipe this lobby clean with those guns, so to do so. Konina Power are going to be the first stop. Gonzo, Machina, the first one potentially to fall on that run. Navi as well, surely will be able to secure themselves the first spot in the running, because Arc Red fell down earlier on, which is a crucial issue of Navi now just needing to survive and needing just to get those placement points to ensure those 400 big bucks goes to them.
But here we go now. UDR trying to make their push, trying to get on into zone for Romanian Men. Really quick with the reactions there, spotting that movement, finding the heads, but of course now seeing the spread of the teams here, everyone being so close. One little mistake could spell the end for the team, as that action just draws the attention in of the players who are just spread out across the zone. Blue zone moving up relentlessly for Romanian Men, now getting forced to rush into zone. Konina Power still holding on, just hanging on the edge of the zone as UDR now gets hit as Navi pushes into that position.
All Romanian Men, they're on the edge. And Navi, they're assaulting in. So will Unique. Bam is being bammed out of the game. So will Dexter, but Noshu's the only one. Has to pull off a miracle, but he finds it with the help of Unique. Mino smacks them all. Konina Power also gone out of the lobby, but we're down just to 2. Sushi has to revive Dexter. They have to get back up on their feet. There's still a hill to climb as Unique turn their attention to Panda.
I mean, what a fight that was. Just absolutely crazy plays. But now we have Unity, Panda, and the 4 Romanian men left to battle it out for the claim to fame. That final chicken dinner moving in, as we can see. The Panda team now just risking it all, rushing on up, trying to find the shots in towards Unity. GK first gets taken down. 2 players now remain for Panda. This is down to the wire. This is where we see what they are made of. Will they be able to get it? And they wrap it up, finding the final few shots in towards Unity. Now, 4 Romanian men move on in. 4 kills under their belt. Will they be able to add in the final 4 kills for Panda?
They need these kills to upset Panda, to take pride in their position and extend their lead over at least into 4th place. But Panda, they dive into the smoke and the tree line for cover. Dexter is on the other side and Sushi's on the flank, trying to get provision and the cover from that rock side. But Panda, they stay together strong. The 4-man is too strong potentially for the 4 Romanian men.
The last 2 remaining players here from 4 Romanian men up against that full squad from Panda. I mean, Panda looking absolutely relentless, just pushing up, putting shots, fishing for hits, fishing for damage. Now they start rushing in the direction there of Dexter. Dexter now just trying to capitalize on the smoke. Sushi tries to step out, tries to find the hits. Up comes Dexter, getting ready to move on in. The shots flying up through the smoke. Oh, Panda just clutches it away from the 4 4 Romanian men. What a play that was. And look at the kill count. 14 kills for Panda.
And they were the ones, despite the fact they couldn't even qualify for any of the prize money, they take so much darn pride with not only the first chicken dinner for them, but they did so in a crucial game here for the rest of these teams, and they upset so much of this lobby from 12-18 through to now 4 Romanian men, sniping them out of their chances of hoping to grab that prize money. And it will, I assume, be Arc-Red, Navi, and Unicorns of Love who take the money through home. DK, because we didn't see those crucial upsets in Unicorns of Love. They're thanking their lucky stars, but the rest of those teams got wiped by Panda, let me tell you.
Man, that was just an absolute performance of note. Panda just flexing it through that Miramar game. I mean, that was insane. 14 kills. That means that's 3.5 teams. 3.5 teams they took out all by their lonesome. Well, that's only the confirmed kills they got. That is not even to mention, you know, that's not even to mention getting into the knocks that they got along the way. But I mean, that is just an absolutely insane performance coming in there from Panda. Great show of power, and yeah, clutching that chicken dinner out, moving in over into 4th place. Of course, there we've got the 4 Romanian men sitting on their 4 kills, but also a very strong showing that we had there for them. You know, just hanging out a little bit on the edge of that zone over towards the north as that zone started to push on up. We had Unique, of course, then finishing up in 3rd place, 7 kills, decent count as well. Konina Power just holding on, just hiding under the staircase right there in between the 4 Romanian men, trying to outlast them as long as they can, and unfortunately paid off to a degree, making it up in towards 4th place. 2 kills to count for that. So yeah, I don't think that was too bad of a showing coming in there from Konina Power.
Yeah, I certainly think Konina Power are able to hold their head up high, right? Yes, they were never going to realistically qualify. They needed 50 points out of this game or something stupid to realistically grab even just $100. But certainly they do so doing well here on the final map. Yes, it's not the chicken dinner that they wanted, but considering that they were put down very early on to just Gonzo, they've actually done very, very considerably well, outlasting a lot of these other teams. And keep in mind, we had 16 teams all the way up to realistically that 6.5 minute mark. So they've actually been able to survive well and get those points in when it counted.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you on that. And, you know, moving on down that leaderboard, we have the players from Navi finishing up over in 5th place, bringing in 6 kills. Oh, all right. Not bad, not bad. So I think as we move down, we're going to try and maybe calculate things before we get the results on this end. But yeah, Navi, 6 kills, 5th place. UDR coming in there, 6th place at least. Finishing off with 3 kills. Much better play than we saw over on Erangel for them. Then, of course, the players from Umbra coming in 7th place. 3 kills alongside that. We got KDV, 8th place. 3 kills. Not a bad showing. Destiny coming into 9th place with 4 kills. I'm also eyeing that leaderboard as we go on up just to, you know, just to see if something could have happened. Then, of course, Arc-Red, 10th place. 2 kills. Up for them in that one. 12-18, 11th place with the 2. We've got Unity coming in 12th place with 1 kill. Then we had the players there from Just Skill over in 13th place with 2. We have the Unicorns of Love finishing up in 14th place with 1 kill. So I think that's only 1 point for them, right?
Yeah, 1 point going well. 12th place gets 1 point, 15th, 16th, 15th, 14th, 13th, you get nothing. So you actually only get 1 point for 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th, and then you move up to 2, to all the way up to, of course, 15 for that first place, which was Panda. But Panda taking up not only the double digits worth of kills, but the 15 points, at least they can move their way through to the left side of the leaderboard and be in that top half of the lobby. Because with that final game, they push themselves from that 12th spot, potentially now above so many other teams. Even, of course, teams like Konina Power, who were sat in that 7th spot because of the nature of that middle of the pack, of the leaderboard, being so tight-knit.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, that was a beautiful one. Having 14 kills along the 15 points for the placement, so that amounts to 29 points. I mean, they were sitting on 64, and if you add on the 29 onto that, that puts
93.
us. Yep, and that could maybe be somewhere near the nice end of the left side. I can't say where exactly because we don't know what the grand total of points are.
7th.
Yeah.
Probably 7th, considering it for Romanian Men did get a good showing. Maybe Destiny, of course, fall down to 6, I assume. But because of the artifact, 99 points, even though they should get over the 100-point mark as well, because they did survive. They did get, at least I assume, a few kills here and there. So they actually will be around our 7th place mark. But moving yourself up 5 teams worth in one game is certainly a statement to close you off in a tournament. That is for sure, even if you can't find your way all the way to the top. It's just a little bit of a shame, unfortunately, that these guys couldn't have done so sooner. As we do get the results through for the final game, it will be in 3rd position.
Not yet.
Unicorns of Love in. Oh, not yet.
No, I haven't displayed it, but now it's on screen. There we go.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love, yeah. 130 points. We got Arc Red here, 148 in 2nd position. And Navi, they clutch it in the final moment because they took out Arc Red early on themselves. Take that top spot, albeit by 5 points. That's how close it was between that 200 euros worth of difference. That is how close you get in a tournament like this one. 12-18, hard luck for them, unfortunately, falling into 4th position. And as we said, it was predicted Panda in 7th position. For Romanian Men, they were barely not able to outlast against Destiny. They do pick up the kills they needed along the way, and they will fall in 5th. So not too much of a change in leaderboard, other than Panda and falling through 5 places upwards. And now Navi as well falling into that top spot once again. So props, of course, to Navi, the champions of the 700 euro Pubgm EU series.
Well, there we go. I couldn't have said it better myself. And I mean, yeah, big up to our top 3 teams there. Navi, Arc Red, and Unicorns of Love. Adding that extra little bit of a moolah into the bank. It's never a bad thing. But I mean, I got to give it up to these teams, right? Regardless of where they ended up on this final leaderboard, what an amazing show it has been coming in from them. Performances coming through, crazy plays coming in. I mean, just stepping up and showing us what they've got. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. I mean, I had an absolute blast watching these teams go.
It was so good to watch some of these teams. And even teams like Just Skill, you look at them and they're like, oh, 16th position. But Just Skill, they were always fighting. They were always putting that test, that skill test against these other teams to see if they could find these points. So even though it doesn't work out for them, they were certainly pressuring and certainly putting in the pain sometimes, even against some of the top teams in our lobby.
Yeah, I mean that was just beautiful. I mean, I would rewatch these broadcasts or these VODs over and over and over just to get more of that. But I mean, sadly, it has come down to the wire, down to the end. We have now reached the end of the broadcast here, but of course, a big shout out going to everyone that tuned in to watch the absolutely insane and phenomenal plays we've had with these teams. And of course, thank you to all the teams for making just an absolutely easy show to cast. It was so much fun to do. And of course, thank you to you, Mr. Wolf. Thank you so much. And then
Thank
of course,
you to you, dude.
Oh, always got to come in with that one, but yes, there we go. But then, of course, a big thank you going out over towards, you know, Purge Tournaments for bringing us the series, as well as Nice Cactus for being the sponsor on the event. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Big shout out, big thank you going out towards them and to make all of this possible.
Yeah, nice characters. Big up to them, of course. Big up to Purge for organizing and the entire production team day by day behind it. Some of the names, of course, Cautiousness, Spirit, Acids, Six as well. These guys all behind working on the points to the game lobbies, working hard and tirelessly off the stream. So big up to them as well. And I think that with that, dude, as well, as we say, big up to you for the stream. That we have to mention the teams. As we say, the teams are the pride and joy of this competition. They are the ones that provide all the action and give a little bit of action and spice for us to cast and to watch. They are the guys that set the pace.
Yeah, absolutely great job, guys. And yeah, with that, we're gonna end it off here. So thank you so much once again to everyone and everyone involved in this. I said everyone twice, but that's just how much it means to us. But yeah. But there you go, guys. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much for tuning in, and of course, stay safe.